Welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and this lesson is all about how to find a tax sale list. Now, you don't know me, but I've been doing tax liens and tax deeds for about 30 years. I started as an investor, and then I became an educator, and I'll go into some of those details as we go along today, but most of America calls me America's Tax Lien and Tax Defaulted Property Authority. And I ended up with that title because I've done literally hundreds of clients through the process of buying tax liens and tax deeds. So I'm going to give you lots of tips on how to make money, and I'm going to show you how to find the list today, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, I forgot to tell you that I'll also tell you about how to avoid the biggest mistakes before we get done today. But let's start out with how to find a tax sale list. And I know that's what you want to do. So the easiest way to do that is get the local newspaper, because they'll publish it in the county that you're in if you're in a state that sells tax liens or tax deeds. Now, if you're not in a state that sells tax lien certificates, then you'll have to go to the county websites, and they'll show you on the county a huge list of tax lien certificates that they want to sell. Now, I'll show you about the newspapers and things like that in just a few minutes. But there's also lists of tax defaulted properties, and I'll show you actual lists of those in just a few minutes. But half of the states in the United States will sell tax lien certificates. Now, those tax lien certificates, you could earn 16 or 18 or 24, all the way up to 36% interest. But with tax defaulted property, those properties are actually going to be sold at auction for very close to the back taxes. And when they're sold, tax liens or tax deeds, the mortgage is wiped out. So start to visualize that you might be able to buy a property for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. Now remember, these are nationwide. There's going to be over 3,000 counties. They're almost evenly split, but half of the counties will sell tax lien certificates, and the other half of the counties will sell tax deeds. So county website, you can always find the list there. Now, when you call the county or you get a hold of them online, you can say you'd like to have the list, and many of them will actually send you the list. But they get away from that because they don't want to spend the money mailing things to you, so they'll probably refer you to a website. But let me show you what an actual list looks like from a county. So I'm going to pick a county in Florida that's on the west coast of Florida. It's called Hillsborough County, but the city there is called Tampa. So many of you will know about Tampa. And that's on the west coast of Florida. So I'm just going to go over here and pick up a newspaper that I have on my desk. And I asked them for the list. And the first time I asked them for the list, they said, well, they couldn't send it to me. And after many inquiries of getting it sent, they finally said, you have to go to the newspaper and get it. So I did exactly that. I went to the newspaper and I got that list. And I'm going to hold it up so you can see it on camera. That's the list. And the list has over 40,000 certificates in it. Now, if I hold it up, it'd be very difficult to understand anything there because it's just long lists of all the certificates that are available. So when the government sells, they actually don't sell the property. They sell the property number, and it's in these lists. So there's no pictures in these newspapers. So this is 40,000 tax lien certificates. Anybody can buy one. Some of them are $50, some of them are $500. Here's another list. Now this list would be Jacksonville, Florida. I just picked on Florida to kind of show you this. Now half of the states sell these certificates. Now here's the same kind of thing taking place, and they have about 30,000 certificates here in Jacksonville, Florida at this particular auction. So those lists are available from the county, and most of the counties will have a local newspaper printed for local people. Now, one of the advantages you'll have because you watch this video is you will now understand that the counties only advertise in their county. They're not going to advertise in your county. So Hillsborough County only lets people in Hillsborough County know about it via the newspaper. However, if you go to their website, because that's what I'm telling you to do now, then you could still find the same list. Now, will that work in other places? Well, absolutely. So Jacksonville would be the same way. That's Duval County, and that county only advertises in that county. Now, this gives you a huge competitive advantage if you think about it, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to hold up for you now is a list. These are lists from New York State, and they're lists of properties. Now, New York State doesn't sell tax liens. They sell tax defaulted property. So that means what they're going to do is they're going to make a brochure like I'm holding up in my hand right now, and it has multiple pages. And they might have as many as 300 or 400 properties to sell, and then you can't see it very well now, but there's actually pictures of the property in this brochure. So this brochure will be made, and they will send that out. But usually that's sent out by an auction company, a company that sells these for the county. So there's pictures of that. So Sullivan County, I can go to their website and I could download this particular brochure. Okay, they don't advertise outside of their county. So they might have as many as 400 properties for sale, but only people in their county, unless they watch the video I just told you about, will be there at the auction. But you can buy. Now, I bought online in this county. They'll sell online to you. So you can learn how to do this and buy online. Now, should you just open this brochure and start buying? I would tell you not to do that, but people do it all the time. But the point is, all of these auctions are clearly accessible to you. So half of the counties in the United States sell tax liens, the other sell tax deeds. Now, can I show you places like Los Angeles? Well, of course I can. So let's do that. So here's an auction brochure from Los Angeles. Look at that. All right, now, watch what I do this. Okay, this is 2,500 properties in the fifth wealthiest county in the United States. Fifth wealthiest county in the United States. Okay, every one of the properties in here, there's no pictures in it. Everyone has a property description. You could buy there, starting bids $50 and $100. Some properties have starting bids of $1 million. That auction, they'll auction off anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 properties in one day. As fast as you can snap your fingers, they're selling properties. So every one of these counties has plenty of inventory is the word I was looking for. So what I want to make sure that you understand is this business is a business of abundance. There's always going to be too many tax liens and too many tax deeds. So I hope you're getting the idea. All right, so let's go back and talk about this investment process a little bit so that you understand it, okay? Now, when a county is selling tax liens, they can have their own rules. So let me give you two different rules so you kind of understand it. So in Georgia, when they're selling, you can make a minimum of 20% in one day. So you say, how could I do that in one day? Because they're actually selling you a certificate, which is a deed to a property. And if the people come in and pay in one day, they have to give you a 20% return. Whereas in Florida, right next door, they're selling tax lien certificates, and it's a bid down process. It starts to 18, and if you wanted it more than I did, you'd say 17 and a half. And if I really wanted it, I might say 17. But it could bid all the way down to 0.25%. The point is, that's going to sound a little bit confusing, but after you've had a mini class on that, and I have a mini course that comes with this video series if you want, you'll learn what that bidding process is. All right, so tax lien certificates are safe and they're secure. You can't invest with Ted Thomas. You're going to invest with the local government, and then when the people pay their taxes, you're going to get your money back. With tax lien certificates, you either get paid or you get the property. Now let me say that again. This is the safest investment in America today. You can't invest with me. If you invest your money with the government is now going to hold your money, and they're going to use the money to run the government. But they're going to give you a piece of paper. When you have that piece of paper, you now control that property. That property can't be sold. Nothing can happen on that property until that property owner pays you. Now, if the property owner does not pay your certificate, you will get the property without a mortgage. So I know that sounds unbelievable, but that's been going on for 200 years. 200 years. So the tax lien certificate states, when you buy a tax lien certificate, you'll either get paid or you'll get the property. So think about what we're talking about there. That's a nice, safe, secure investment for you. Your money is protected by the property tax code. So let's continue on. So how'd you find those sales? You can easily just call the county. If you want to find out if there's any liens, you can go into the county records and look at all that. Now, if you don't know how to do that, you'll probably have to go to the county and learn how. Our students all know how because we teach that as one of our courses. But most people, if you want to research property, you're either going to have to go to the county or you're going to have to learn how to do it online. Tax defaulted properties are the same way. If you want to really do the research on the property and know what you're buying, the only way you can do that is either go to the county or to do it online. Now, we pioneered the business of buying online 5 years ago. So I have clients in Singapore, I have them in Australia, I have them in the United Kingdom that they buy online in the United States. They buy here. It's okay. They'll sell people. We sell to people in Mexico, Brazil, France, you name it. They sell properties online, and you could be doing the exact same thing. All right, so what about these tax defaulted property? Those states are states like California, New York. Now, if you bought in either of those two states, I can tell you, the property owner there is given a tax bill. If they don't pay it, the property can be confiscated, and it will be confiscated. So New York confiscates the property, and then they resell it into the marketplace, and they get rid of the mortgage. California does the same thing. If they don't pay their tax, they confiscate the property, and they resell it back into the marketplace. Sometimes it's 10 cents, sometimes 30 cents, but you'll get a good chance to make yourself some money at both of those sales. Do we have classes on bidding strategies? Well, that's a good question, and why it's good is because it's different in every state, so you really do need bidding strategies. The answer is yes. We do it live in our live classes and our virtual classes, and there'll be written documents to show you about that. Yes, you want to learn those bidding strategies. Okay, do you want to split it up? Well, if you got $10,000, that's a good start. And you want to buy lots of little tax lien certificates, $1,000 or $2,000 each, you could do that. Nothing wrong with that. Or do you want to buy one $10,000? Here's the disadvantage in buying tax certificates. The disadvantage is what do you do if they pay them off? Well, then you got to reinvest, right? Well, there's always leftovers to buy. So my suggestion is do what you feel comfortable with. I don't care one way or the other whether you do $2,000 or one $10,000. When it comes to property, $10,000 is going to be you're going to squeak by getting started. Now, I had a client just this past year bought a house for $326. Now, I never bought one for $326. The house is probably worth $40,000 or $50,000. But he bought it for $300 because nobody showed up at the auction except him. But when you're buying tax lien certificates, you can buy it for $50, $2,000. But buying a $10,000 in that area, buy a couple of fives, something like that. Remember, you're going to get a rate of return that's going to be 16, 18, or 24. So if you buy a bunch of small ones, it's not going to seem like much of a return. But you sometimes have to look at the auction and say, I'm going to buy what's available. So Bill Williams gives a class on this. He's one of my coaches. And this guy likes to buy in an 18% market, and sometimes he makes 19%. But he gets checks every day. He's getting money, and he buys online. So he gets a little beeper goes off on his phone, and then sure it is, they just tell him how much money they put back in his account. So buying those little ones is kind of fun because you're always getting some new money every day. Think about that. All right, well, I'm Ted Thomas, and I'm running out of time, so here's what I want to suggest you do. I'd like to have you be part of my community. If you'd like to do that, I'm going to give you a gift. Now, the gift is a 1-hour mini course, and that mini course will show you about tax liens and tax deeds. All you have to do is go below, and guess what? You could sign up, and I'll send you that mini course, or you can actually take the mini course. So if you want to join the community, just go below me and get yourself signed up.